You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because your body stopped responding a long time ago, and you didn't notice. What if the reason you're stuck isn't lack of effort, but that your training has become biologically invisible? I need to say something that might make you uncomfortable. For a long time, I was doing everything right. I never skipped runs. I followed the plan. I tracked the miles, respected the schedule, and showed up even on days I didn't feel like it. From the outside, I looked disciplined, reliable, serious about running. But something was wrong. Every run ended the same way. Not destroyed. Not fresh. Just drained. The same kind of tired. The kind that doesn't scare you, but also never goes away. Months passed, then years. My pace didn't change. My body didn't change. The effort stayed high, but the return quietly dropped to zero. That's when a question started bothering me, and I couldn't unhear it. What if I wasn't tired because I was pushing too hard? What if I was tired because my body wasn't even listening anymore? That thought changed everything. And if you've ever trained consistently, felt exhausted, and still wondered why nothing is moving forward, this video is for you. Before we go any further, welcome to the channel. If you care about understanding running, not just surviving workouts, consider subscribing. It helps this channel keep digging into the science and the thinking that actually moves runners forward. Because what I'm about to share isn't about motivation. It's about a mistake almost all disciplined runners make without realizing it. That question stayed with me, and the more I trained, the louder it became. Because discipline had always been my answer. When progress slowed, I didn't question the system. I tightened it. I told myself to be more consistent, more committed, more responsible. I believed that if I just kept showing up, improvement would eventually follow. That belief had worked before, so why wouldn't it work now? But here's what no one talks about. Discipline is powerful only when the body is still surprised. In the beginning, every run is a disruption. Your system doesn't recognize the stress, so it adapts aggressively. You get faster, lighter, stronger, almost by accident. Effort feels rewarded. Then one day, without any clear warning, that relationship changes. Your runs stop being a challenge and start becoming a routine. Not because they're easy, but because they're familiar. The body no longer needs to respond. It knows this effort. It has learned exactly how to survive it without upgrading anything. And this is the dangerous part. You can feel tired, even exhausted, and still be making no progress at all. Fatigue becomes constant, but adaptation quietly disappears. That's when I realized something uncomfortable. Consistency didn't stop working because I lacked discipline. It stopped working because discipline alone was no longer enough to force change. Once I accepted that consistency alone wasn't the problem, I had to look deeper, at the body itself. I used to think my body was somehow failing me, that it was stubborn or aging or just not built for more. But the truth was far less dramatic and much more unsettling. My body wasn't broken. It was doing exactly what it was designed to do. The human body doesn't chase improvement. It chases efficiency. Its job is to keep you alive using as little energy as possible. Progress, to the body, is not a goal. Stability is. That's when I started seeing my training differently. I imagined my body like a thermostat in a room. Early on, running cranked the temperature so high that the system had to react. It built capacity, opened pathways, and adjusted everything to survive the new environment. But over time, the temperature stopped changing. My usual runs didn't register as a threat anymore. The thermostat stayed quiet, no alarms, no upgrades. And that realization hit hard. I wasn't being ignored, I was being understood. My body had learned exactly how to handle my training without spending any extra energy. It had solved the problem. I kept giving it. And as long as the signal stayed the same, there was no reason for it to change at all. Once I saw that my body was simply responding to the signals it was given, another uncomfortable truth surfaced. I wasn't really training anymore, I was completing tasks. Somewhere along the way, running had turned into a checklist. The plan told me what to do, and my job was to execute it. Distance checked, time checked, heart rate recorded. I mistook completion for progress because everything looked correct on paper. But my body wasn't reading the plan. It wasn't impressed by consistency or effort. It only cared about whether the stress it experienced demanded a new response. That's when the difference between exercise and training finally became clear to me. Exercise keeps you healthy. It makes you sweat, burn calories, and feel productive. Training is different. Training applies stress with intention, with the specific goal of forcing adaptation. Most of my runs sat in an uncomfortable middle ground. They felt hard enough to drain me, but not specific enough to challenge my system. Biologically, they were quiet, familiar. Safe. I realized I had become very good at managing fatigue, at surviving workouts, at staying busy, but I had stopped sending clear signals. And without a clear signal, the body has no reason to change. Once I understood that unclear signals lead to no change, I started noticing a pattern that explained almost everything. Most of my runs lived in the same narrow space. Not easy, not brutal, just moderately hard. The kind of effort where you're breathing heavy but still in control. The kind that feels productive, even respectable. I told myself this was good work, but this middle ground was where progress quietly disappeared. When I was supposed to run easy, I crept faster. Part of it was impatience. Part of it was ego. Slow felt like wasting time, like admitting weakness. So I pushed just enough to feel like I'd earned the run. Then when it was time to run hard, I was already carrying fatigue. The legs were dull. The edge was gone. Instead of pushing into discomfort, I hovered just below it. Safe, manageable. Without realizing it, every run started to feel the same. Different distances, same effort, different days. Same stress. I was training in a narrow band where nothing extreme happened. And the body adapted perfectly to that band. I became efficient at being average. Too tired to recover, but never stressed enough to grow. That's the gray zone. It doesn't break you. It just keeps you exactly where you are, indefinitely. After seeing how the gray zone kept me stuck, I assumed the answer was simple. Just slow down. So I did. Or at least I thought I did. I told myself my easy runs were easy because they felt comfortable. I could talk. I wasn't gasping. But over time, something felt off. Those runs weren't making me better. They were just filling time. That's when I realized another subtle mistake. Easy running isn't defined by comfort. It's defined by purpose. It's a specific metabolic conversation with the body, one that asks it to build efficiency, endurance, and resilience. And that conversation only happens when the signal is clear enough and long enough. Some of my easy runs were too short to matter. Others were so unfocused that I drifted through them. Reinforcing sloppy movement and low intention, I wasn't training my system, I was just jogging through fatigue. The most uncomfortable realization was this: even the right intensity can fail if it isn't connected to something bigger. A strong aerobic base is powerful, but only when it supports higher demands. Without contrast, without moments of real stress, easy running becomes a dead end. You don't build a structure by pouring concrete forever. At some point, you have to build upward. Once I accepted that easy running alone couldn't carry everything, the solution stopped being about balance and started being about contrast. That was the moment polarization finally made sense to me. Not as a theory and not as a trend, but as a personal decision. I stopped trying to make every run feel worth it. Instead, I chose what each run was for. Most days, I committed to running slower than my pride wanted, truly slow. Slow enough that the urge to speed up became a mental battle. Those runs weren't about proving fitness, they were about restoring energy, sharpening efficiency, and letting the system reset. I finished them feeling lighter, not depleted. Then, once a week, I allowed myself to go somewhere uncomfortable. Not controlled discomfort, not a steady effort, real strain. The kind where breathing turns chaotic and the mind starts negotiating exits. That session wasn't pretty, but it was honest. And something shifted. Because for the first time in a long time, my body was getting clear messages. One day said, recover and build. Another said, adapt or fall behind. Progress didn't come from doing more. It came from being clear, from respecting extremes instead of living in the middle. That clarity is what finally gave my training its edge back. As that clarity returned, something deeper began to change, not in my legs or lungs, but in how I thought about every run before it even started. I stopped asking how far or how fast, I started asking a quieter, more uncomfortable question. What am I actually telling my body today? That single shift changed everything. Some days, the message was simple: recover, rebuild, burn fat, stay calm. On those days, slowness wasn't a failure. It was the point. I guarded it. I resisted the urge to drift. I let the run end with energy still in the tank. On other days, the message was the opposite. Expand capacity, raise the ceiling, learn to tolerate stress. And on those days, I stopped pacing myself by comfort. I let the effort speak clearly, even when it felt messy and uncontrolled. What surprised me most was how misleading the old metrics had been. Average pace used to be my judge. Now I see how empty that number is. A run that starts slow and finishes fast can share the same average as a flat, medium effort, yet they ask completely different things of the body. That realization marked a shift in identity. I wasn't just completing sessions anymore. I was shaping signals. I stopped managing tiredness and started designing adaptation. One intentional run at a time. Once I stopped seeing my runs as tasks and started seeing them as signals, the plateau finally made sense. If you're stuck right now, it doesn't mean you failed. It usually means you've done enough work to reach the next level, but not the right kind of work to unlock it. The frustration you feel is often a sign of readiness, not limitation. You don't need more motivation. You don't need harsher discipline. You need precision. The courage to slow down when everything in you wants to push, and the courage to push when comfort feels safer. Progress lives at the edges, not in the middle. And those edges are defined by biology, not by willpower. When you stop guessing and start understanding where your body shifts from calm to stress, from fuel efficiency to danger, training becomes simpler and more honest. The noise fades, the confusion lifts. At that point, running stops feeling like a grind you endure. It becomes a conversation you finally know how to speak. When I look back at this journey, the biggest lesson isn't about running faster. It's about learning to listen. Most of us don't stall because we lack effort. We stall because we keep repeating what feels safe, familiar, and socially acceptable. Growth, whether in training, work, or life, only happens when the signal changes. Real progress requires intention, contrast, and the courage to step out of the middle. Applied to daily life, this means stopping autopilot. Ask what you are actually training for: comfort or change. Choose moments to recover deeply and moments to challenge yourself honestly. That balance is where adaptation lives. Now I'm curious, where in your life do you feel busy but stuck? Leave a comment below and share your perspective so we can all learn from each other. And if this resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel. It truly helps keep these conversations going.